All right, so we're joined from Clarksdale, Mississippi, from the campus of Coahoma Community College by the 2023 valedictorian of Velma Jackson High School, Brenda Escudero, the first Hispanic graduate, the first Hispanic valedictorian in the history of Velma Jackson. So we thank you so much for taking some time for us today. We've got a room full here with us at Velma Jackson. We're recording this for all of our friends at Madison County Schools, especially our seniors that are getting ready to graduate here in May. And we'll talk about the transition they're about to make. So thank you so much for taking some time for us.
Yes, sir.
All right. So before we get into your experience of your first semester there at Oklahoma, take us through your high school years because you were involved in a lot. You were in the band, you were in TSA, you were in you know beta as well. So you were involved in a lot. So take us through that and how tell us first of all what all you did, and then talk about how that made you a good college student as you transitioned from a high school senior to a college freshman.
Okay, so Velma, I did band. I was in band my first no, my 4 years. Played flute. I was in TSA, student council, beta club, and then I did powerlifting my 2 years, 11th and 12th grade, and then I did bowling my last year.
That's right. I forgot about that. So yeah, you were
Yeah.
involved in a lot of stuff, but I always tell these kids, and you heard me say this, being involved in a lot in high school helps you be prepared for college because you were able to you had a lot of time management things you had to take care of while staying on top of your grades. You were able to work with people, and you also had skills that you learned that you can't learn in a classroom, and that's come in handy. Now, one thing I've always admired about you is that English is not your first language. You moved to the United States at 10, correct?
8. I
At
was
eight,
8.
I'm sorry, at 8. So you had to learn English, still learning English as you go, but yet you did not use that as an excuse. You were able to do all these things in high school and were still the valedictorian. So talk about the challenges that you faced being the only Spanish speaker and then not having English as a first language while you were in high school.
So I never thought I was gonna ever be, the top student in my class because, like you said, English is not my first language. And I mean, I was just there doing my work, like managing my stuff, everything that I was doing. Um, and like the challenges were like in at the school, like I always just it was just English, right? Because I didn't have nobody else to talk Spanish with except like a couple words like you or Miss Albert. So that was kind of difficult because me I'm not 100% in English, so I had every day I learned something new.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I'm still learning now. But like you said, I didn't make that an excuse for not to achieve my goals. So like I made that like a string, be like I have to overcome this to be better. Like not use it as an obstacle, but as something to push me to be better.
Yeah, and you obviously you became the valedictorian, which was a great historic moment for our school, and it was a great moment for me. I actually was in tears during your speech. I thought it was so good the way you honor both of your heritages, and you taught me a new term, the 200%er, which I think is so cool. But then you decided, even though you were the valedictorian and could have gotten scholarships pretty much anywhere, you decided to do the community college route, which we
Yes.
were trying to push a lot more kids toward just because of the cost and the class sizes, but you chose to go to Oklahoma and you're there with some other Velma Jackson alums. So what made you choose to go to Oklahoma rather than, I know your ultimate goal is to go to Mississippi State. What made you choose to go to Oklahoma rather than go straight to Mississippi State out of high school?
At first, I was just going to go straight to Mississippi State, but then I saw everything else, like the benefits of going starting at a community college first. Like it's like the experience, the transition. It's like smooth transition because the community college is way smaller than a university, and like Kahoma is something like Velma because it's like in the middle of the nowhere. It's students here, not a lot of students here and stuff. And the classes are pretty like they are very. It's the same as the universities, but the classrooms are smaller, so you get more attention. The teacher 101, and you at a university, you really don't get that because of how many students are there.
Yeah,
And
and
then
yeah,
yeah,
no, go
and
ahead.
then I I chose this community college because I had a band scholarship too. So yeah.
Now, and that's important too, because that's something I want to talk about because a lot of kids, we have some in here that are already looking to play sports in college, whether it be on the community college or college level. But it's, even whether it's band, whether it's football, basketball, softball, volleyball, whatever, on the college level, it's not like high school. It's more advanced. You practice for longer. You can't just skip out on practice. You have to be there because if not, not only do you lose your scholarship, it affects your GPA. So talk about the schedule that you've gotten because you showed me your schedule and it's actually pretty sweet in the way you have
It
everything
is.
set up. So talk about the schedule that you have set up and how you manage that because you guys practice a lot in that Coahoma band.
Yeah, so I have classes. I have one class on Monday and Friday, which is at 11:15. So, and then Tuesday and Thursday, I have two classes on 9:30 and 11:15. So every day I get out at around 12:30 for the latest. And so sometimes in the mornings I wake up because I also got online classes. I have 4 online classes. So sometimes I wake up in the morning and do some work and then go to my other classes. And then well after the 12:30 we got to put 30 minutes of individual practice that is for like the grade or work studies that goes toward that. So after that, I go do the 30 minutes, and then from there I go like at one something to basketball because I'm a manager,
Yeah.
basketball manager for the women basketball team. And so do what we have there, and then I come back like around 2:30 and get ready for band practice, which is at 3:30. I eat something and then go to band practice 3:30. 3:30 to 5:30. Then we get out, go to dinner, and come back into work. And then at 8:30 we gotta report back for practice. And most of the time we're done like around 9, 10-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously, one thing I've always said is, and everybody that's in here with me now, everybody that's watching with me at this moment is smart enough and intelligent enough to cut it on the academic side of college. And you obviously were because you were a great student, but adjusting to that mindset of you don't have parents there to wake you up. You can, you don't have people to go behind you. You have to learn to manage your time and manage your schedule the way that not only suits you, but suits whoever you have commitments to. Because if you're a college athlete, and I know you're in the band and you're also classified as an athlete being a manager, you can't just not show up. You can't just stay in the bed that day. People are not only are people depending on you, your grade depends on it as well.
Yeah.
Now talk about, another reason you went to Coahoma is because you had friends that were going there. And one thing I always say is, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. So talk about how that experience has been, because a lot of times people want to go to college to meet new people, but in your case, it's made you more comfortable because you're able to be with a handful of people that you went to school with.
Yes. And that was actually like one of the most reasons that pushed me, Kahoma, because I'm not really social. So I'm like, what am I gonna do at a university, a college, or something where I don't know anybody? So I'm gonna just be lost. So me and my best friend, Rakaya, me and her are like that. We're like, we really don't talk to people. It's only me and her. It's always been like that. So and then Kahoma, we have both of our majors, and we could both do band, and that's what pushed us here. And then Jeremiah as well. We got his major, and we're all in band.
That's awesome. And also her sister Renaya and Kayla Myers is there playing on the basketball
Yeah.
team. So you're getting, it's really cool. That's one of the things that community college can offer is not only are you getting a more affordable and more hands-on education, but you're getting to spend a couple more years with your friends from high school. So it really does offer that a lot of universities cannot. Now,
Yeah.
and you already got your hands in so much stuff there, which is great. But once you finish at Coahoma, what are going to be your goals? Because obviously, and this is what I tell kids, and you heard me say this, when you go to community college, that doesn't mean you can't go to the university. These community colleges want you to take that step. I can guarantee you Coahoma wants you to finish and wants you to go to Mississippi State. So first of all, why Mississippi State? And then what do you plan to do once you get to Mississippi State and then beyond?
I plan on, well, my first choice is Mississippi State because like they have a very good program of biology because that's my major, biology. And like from there, once I graduate there, I plan on going to pre-med. That's why I'm doing biology first. So yeah.
And then you want to you want to take the MCAT and then go to medical school at
Mm-hmm.
wherever you could get in. Obviously, you'd be
Yeah.
more capable of getting in anywhere. I know Mississippi State does have a great relationship with UMC here in
UNC,
Jackson,
yes.
so it really would be what you wanted to focus on from there. But and I also think it's important to let people know we have a lot of kids that want to do the nursing, the pre-med. It's not like high school science. There's a lot of lab work involved, and not only you have the 3-hour class, and then you have a lab you have to do once or twice a week that is in addition to that class, and you have to pass both. So explain how that works, because I don't think they really understand how these and even if you're not a science major, you still have to have one. So talk about how that lecture and lab work together as far as these college science classes.
And so I mean you have to sit in the lecture and have take notes, do the work, and get an understanding of the topic, because once you're done with that, you gotta go and do a lab. Here most of the labs are online, but it's like if you was in the lab, you actually have to do all the procedures, wash your hands, clean this, and use this in order to get the lab correct. If not, you got to redo it and mix everything, measure everything. So it's just like if you was doing the lab hands on.
Yeah, and then the pre-med is going to have not only biology but chemistry. So you would have
Chemistry.
both of those throughout your college career. It would not just, even if you are a biology major, it does require chemistry classes because
Chemistry, yes.
of the pre-med I can't think of the word, the endorsement on the degree. So
Yeah.
you really are getting all the sciences. So it's important to know what you're getting into, even though we encourage everybody to go into the health science fields. There's a lot of science involved, whether it's nursing, pre-med, pharmacy, whatever. So I think that's another good reason to be at the community college, because you're in the smaller classes. And again, you're with people that you know, and you get that one-on-one attention. And it's like I said, even me, and you heard me say this 1,000 times. Me going to Madison Central, I had over 500 people in my graduating class, which is more than double of the entire student body of Velma Jackson. And
Velma
even me
Jackson.
going to the University of Southern Mississippi, I had a class with that many people in the class, and a guy I'd literally known my entire life was in the class. I didn't know it till the last day. So it is literally that easy to get lost in the shuffle at a university. So when you are used to a small environment, you have to look at what's best for you. And I think that was for you to see, look, I'm used to this in high school. I need to continue
Yes.
this as long as possible.
Yeah, so it was a smooth transition. That's why I chose it, because Velma Jackson, we all know each other in the school. We've been knowing each other for the longest. And so that's why I came to Kahoma, because it's a small environment too, kind of something like Velma Jackson, and also with friends that I knew my entire life.
Now, before I get to the questions, one thing I wanted to hit on is that Coahoma is a HBCU. So obviously, and I've said a million times, I don't care what color you are, what race you are. It's always hard to be a minority in a situation, especially in your case, where you were the only one. But yet you were still quite successful at it. So what is it like being a non-Black student at a HBCU?
It's, you get a lot of new experience, something you never experienced before, that you never ever thought about, because it's not something that you're used to. But it's just pretty fun, exciting, get to know a lot of things, history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you heard me say a bunch of times, and I always say this, is that historically Black does not mean exclusively Black, because there is a more diverse student population there than people realize.
Yeah, it is.
And I know that they, especially in the athletic aspect, and people from the Delta. I was born in the Delta. It is a very, very diverse area, even though they do have those HBCU traditions, which are great. And I know you're really enjoying those. But do want to get to these questions. I'll get to as many as I can. This is Harmony Williams, our new homecoming queen here at Velma Jackson, who was just crowned Friday night. And she asked,
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, I told her the same, and she looked great. She did a great job. She asked, what has been the hardest adjustment for you going into college?
Hardest adjustment. Um, it will be probably, the time schedule, manage my schedule, because here I'm at the school and I gotta wake myself every day to go to class, or do my online classes and then go to practice. And Yeah, so time management.
Yeah, it's a beast. I keep trying to tell y'all, and then y'all see it. This is Ken Young, one of our football players here, obviously, and he asked, "What is your biggest motivation to keep going in college?"
My biggest motivation, like I said, is looking back of where I started because I didn't know any English, and now I was able to graduate high school. I was valedictorian, and so my is keep pushing to be more successful.
Yeah, and as a first generation American, so it really is
Yes.
it's quite a story, and it's just so inspirational. This is Gabriel G, who's obviously another one of our football players, and he asked, "What has been the hardest part about the college classes for you?"
The hardest part will be the online classes because there, like, you're basically on your own because you got to go and read the lectures and then do the lab. Because that's chemistry, the one I take, so it's even worse because it's a lot of equations, a lot of math, numbers, and a lot of to it. So it will be online classes.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, because so many times seniors are wanting to make their senior year easy instead of using it to prepare themselves for college. Even if they just want to do the community college route, and even if they just want to do the trade, we have several students in here that were interested in learning the trade. That's still going to have a little bit of math and a little bit of science in these trade programs. So challenging yourself throughout high school, I think, can only be beneficial.
Yes, and like more if you're able to do the dual enrollment classes because it helped me a lot. Because there is online the dual enrollment classes is easier because here you don't you never know what the teachers how the teachers might be. So it's better to get it on out the way at high school when they're providing the class and it's being free.
Absolutely. Here's David Ford. I know his sister Ashley's been up there at Oklahoma as well. And he asked, "What goals are you trying to achieve your first year in college?"
Goals. I will be maintain at least a 3.5 GPA. Yeah, have not bad of attendance at classes and learn everything, for band, be there.
And I know the 3.5 is a GPA required for the Phi Theta Kappa, which is the honor society at junior colleges,
Yes.
which can put you at Mississippi State for next to nothing.
Yes. Yes, that's why I want my GPA to be like that because I plan on joining the Phi Theta Kappa to transfer after my 2 years to a university.
Yeah, and that would be, and that's the thing at national junior colleges. That would not just be at Oklahoma. That would be at Holmes, Hines, East Central, wherever they decide to
Yes,
do to
any
go
community
the college
college.
route. And it's kind of a hidden gem. We've had several students that have used it, and they went to the community college first, Hines, Holmes, a few at Oklahoma. They joined Phi Theta Kappa, and then they continued their college education for next to nothing because of that scholarship provided in
Yes,
community
in community college. Yes,
college. Here's
that's why it's better to start at a community college first too, because you have that opportunity.
Yeah,
To,
absolutely. Um, Here's a good one. This is Christian Wolf, and he asked, "What is the biggest things that have changed about you since you started college?"
they have changed me. Probably will be not procrastinate because if I do, I get behind. It's in anything, even if I miss the class or I'll be late. When I get there, they already like half of the subject of the topic, and yeah, band too. The field shows. If I miss one practice, I might go in the next practice, and I don't know where I'm supposed to be or what to do in the field show because I missed that practice.
Yeah, and again, even though we have kids here that already play the sports, we have kids that are already in the band. It is another level up when you get to the college level because they're expecting you to be able to be there. They don't have time to spoon feed you if you've missed practice. They're going to move on without you.
Yes.
And I always, for people in band, I always think it's funny. You go to a game, you see people sitting in the bleachers at halftime. That means they miss practice and they can't get in the field show. So
Yeah.
it really is something that has to be practiced a lot, no matter whether it's sport or band. All right, last one. This is Alexander Williams, and he asked, "What is your biggest career goal once you finish college?"
Once I finish college, I plan on being. I want to be a doctor because I want to help people. I like to help, give out to community. So that will be it. I'm still not sure what kind of doctor I'm gonna be, but I want to have my own, medical, practice, help people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, because with the changing demographics of our state and our country, there's more and more need for bilingual professionals in every field.
Yes.
So your knowledge of English and Spanish can be very useful. So, you know, we all, you heard people say all the time they want to get mad about not wanting to learn Spanish. So that can be very useful. As you know, as somebody that grew up not speaking English, if you were in an emergency situation, you want to be able to communicate with somebody. There's always going to be need for people to speak multiple languages, especially in the healthcare field. So being
Healthcare,
able to be
yes.
bilingual in any field can be very useful, not only to yourself to make more money, but to the community that
Yeah,
makes
because you help
somebody.
the community that they don't speak that language, so you can be there supporting and helping them.
Absolutely. And honestly, there are not enough bilingual doctors in Mississippi. It really is a need for that. The
No.
fact that you've seen that and want to do that is great. And I think you're going to do great at it. Well, we're almost out of time. And we thank you so much for joining us. I think it's so cool that it was just a few months ago you were sitting here listening to these, and now you got to be a part of one, and we're able to share things that is going to happen for these kids. Whether they want to go to the university or community college or go to some trade program, these changes are going to happen once May starts or once May ends. We try to tell y'all, and y'all can put it off all you want, but it's going to happen. So, you were walking these same halls with these same teachers not that long ago, but you were able to adjust, and you've already made a great success for yourself there in your first semester at Oklahoma. So what can these kids do now to adjust to the changes that are going to come once they graduate?
I would say, not procrastinate and don't do as much as you can while you're there. So once you come here, it will be a smoother transition because you don't have a lot on your back to catch up with. And you get adjust to the environment here at a university. Well, at a
Absolutely.
college. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you're doing so great. And I know I speak for so many people when I say we are so proud to call you an alumni. We are so proud to call you a former student. You are one of the biggest successes that this school has ever seen, and you should be proud of that. And I hope you continue to use that to be even more successful there at Oklahoma. And we miss you. We're proud of you, and we're so glad you took some time for us today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hasta luego. De nada.
Hasta luego. Gracias.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Thank you. Bye.